Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be taking you on a 2-week itinerary through Switzerland, specifically geared for hikers and adventure lovers.
We have been to this beautiful country 3 times now, and if you only have 2 weeks, this is going to be the best of the best for you. This itinerary is jam-packed and full of hiking, so if you want to take a break or chill and explore a few of the towns, feel free to do so.
Switzerland has always held a special place in our hearts. We first visited on our honeymoon back in 2022, and we've been lucky enough to return since. But this trip felt extra special, not just because of the stunning hikes, alpine spas, and cozy mountain huts, but because we shared it with David's mom to celebrate her 65th birthday and meet up with some of the friends we've made here over the years.
After years of hopping red-eyes and rushing through airports, this time we did things differently, flying to Europe with KLM in world business class. From the moment we checked in, everything was effortless. We had sky priority access through security, a quiet moment to unwind in the KLM Crown Lounge, and meals that felt more like fine dining than airplane food, with dishes designed by top chefs and a wine list curated by sommeliers. The lay-flat seats meant we landed in Zurich rested and ready.
Flying with KLM made us realize that getting there can be just as meaningful as the destination itself. Feeling rested, relaxed, and taken care of from the start helped us slow down and really be present for everything that came next. And in Switzerland, everything that came next was unforgettable. So this itinerary does arrive and leave Switzerland from Zurich. If you are flying into Geneva or somewhere else, you can just adjust it. If you're coming to Geneva, just start in Interlaken and then loop around from there.
We've done it both ways.
We have done it both ways. Yeah, I like going into Zurich because of day 2 and 3, my friends, so just wait. All right, so day 1 in Zurich. Our flight landed at about 10 a.m., which was really nice. I think most of the flights coming from North America are overnight, so you get the whole first day, and that is the perfect time to just unwind and enjoy the city of Zurich. If you're renting a car, it is just convenient to pick it up from the airport, and there's lots of parking downtown, or you can take a train downtown. Some of the best things to do here include walking around the Altstadt, which is their old town. It's absolutely beautiful. It's along the river. There's really cool architecture. You can go into different churches and buildings. There's lots of shopping in Zurich. Getting cheese fondue was definitely a highlight for us. Your mom loved the cheese fondue. That was such a good welcome to Switzerland. So it's a little bit expensive in Zurich, but probably worth it. You can also book a boat cruise on Lake Zurich, or there is a gondola that you can take up to a viewpoint if you'd like as well. You are probably going to want to go to bed early tonight and get a good rest for what is to come. If you are planning a trip to Switzerland, we have a travel guide for adventure lovers that covers all of our favorite places in this beautiful country. This guide details everything you need to know about traveling through Switzerland, including the best activities, where to eat, where to stay, budget tips, renting a vehicle, public transportation, and camping. Whether you're interested in hiking to alpine huts for sunrise views, paragliding over Interlaken, finding hidden waterfalls in Lauterbrunnen, or off the beaten path things to see and do in some of Switzerland's most charming towns, let us do all the research so that all you have to worry about is enjoying your trip. This 77-page guide is an instant download, and we cannot wait to share it with you. We have already got so much great feedback on it, so we will link it below. You do not want to miss it.
Day 2, you are probably going to want to wake up nice and early and drive 1.5 hours to Ebenalp to start the Schäfler hike, which is one of our favorite hikes in all of Switzerland. This hike is in the Appenzell region of Switzerland, and it is beautiful. There are lots of really cute small towns that you're going to go through on the drive, so feel free to stop if you want to check some things out, maybe taste some beer. Really good beer in this region as well. Probably not a great idea prior to a hike, but whatever.
I feel like you drink through all the hikes in Switzerland. There's just huts and beer everywhere.
It's true. It's true. Make sure to get a local Appenzell beer when you reach the top at Schäfler Hut. You are going to want to take this gondola from Ebenalp, and it shaves off like at least 1,000 meters of elevation gain from the top of the gondola, which is actually only 25 francs per person. It is about 2.4 kilometers and 300 meters of elevation gain. This only takes about an hour and a half of hiking until you're gonna reach your home for the night, which is the Schäfler Hut.
Guys, this hut, if you get good weather up here, sunsets, sunrises, the views out your window, the view from the restaurant, like,
it's amazing.
Go here, yes. So one thing that we weren't prepared for really the first time we went to Switzerland was hiking with mountain huts. You don't ever need to pack a lunch. There's always places where you can refill water along the trail, whether that's at a hut or they just have water troughs. And yeah, there's always also a place that you can sleep, like really if you need to, so you don't really need to bring a backpacking tent, which is super nice.
Yeah.
This hut is a little bit pricey, guys. It's about 180 Swiss francs for a private room, and you can kind of fit 2 to 3 people in a private room.
Yeah, but you could also sleep in the bunk room with other people if you wanted to try and shave off a few dollars. This price does also include a buffet breakfast though, which is quite good.
Really good. And you can buy dinner there, which we'd recommend. It's very tasty as well.
This hut also has washrooms and charging spots.
So make sure to book this hut in advance, guys. You can do this online on their website. They do sometimes have last minute spots, but you don't want to risk getting up there and them not having a room for you to stay. So definitely safer to book it online and then you pay when you get there. And that brings us to day 3. Please wake up for sunrise if it's clear. Like, this view is... You do not want to miss it. You do have to check out of the Schäfler hut pretty early. I think checkout is around 9 a.m. so you can have your breakfast, check out, and then start hiking. So the best part of today's hike, we thought, was right along the top of Schäfler Ridge. That is such a cool hike.
The first 2 kilometers. Yeah. Insane.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. You do have an option. You could go back the way you came and take the cable car down, but if you do have the energy doing this loop on the 3rd day of your trip in Switzerland, definitely going to be worth it. So the total hike for the day is about 10 kilometers. You're going to gain about 500 meters of elevation gain, and then you're going to lose over 1,000 to get down to Seealpsee Lake. There are different huts that you can stop at along the way for lunch or beer, one of those being Berggasthaus Mesmer, which is where we stopped. And there is another guest house down at Seealpsee Lake called Berggasthaus Seealpsee, and that is where we stayed for the night. Definitely would recommend it. They are closed 1 night a week, so if they're closed, there is another hut down there, and they alternate days being closed. So I think either of those options would be good.
For sure.
Make sure to hike around Seealpsee. It is such a beautiful lake.
Just along the shores of Seealpsee is a local little farm, and they actually make homemade milkshakes fresh from the cows in the area. So definitely would recommend that. If it's a hot day, be sure to go for a swim in Seealpsee.
Yes, bring your swimsuit. The price for Berggasthaus Seealpsee is a little bit steep as well. I think it was about 95 francs per person to stay. So we got a double room. You don't really need to book a room with a toilet and a shower. That is an option, but there are public toilets and showers that are nice and clean, and it's a little bit cheaper.
Day 4, you are going to wake up, and again, if the weather's nice, sunrises so nice in the spot. After breakfast, you are going to hike the 3 kilometers back down to your vehicle. It's a paved road the whole way, so it goes by super quick. From there, you're going to drive 2.5 hours to the town of Schwyz, I believe it's pronounced. And this is where you are going to get on the Stoos, which is actually the steepest funicular in the world. And this is going to take you up to the small mountain village of Stoos. A day pass for this whole area is about 50 francs, and it is well worth it. So once you get to Stoos, you're going to hop on the Fronalpstock chairlift, and this is going to take you all the way up to the Fronalpstock hotel where you're going to spend the night. This place is such a nice hotel, and the rooms have an incredible view. In the summertime, they also have a little like goat petting area, which is really cute. And the views are absolutely epic, looking over Lake Lucerne.
You also need to make sure that you're looking online because they open and close at different times throughout the year, but a lot of times they close between like 5 and 7 p.m. So you just want to make sure that you're getting there before closing. It'd be really sad to miss your ride up to the hotel. Again, book the Fronalpstock hotel well in advance because they do fill up quick, and a room there is going to cost you between 150 and 180 Swiss francs a night. But so worth it because, guys, you get early access to the Stoos Ridge hike the following day, and that is like no amount of money.
Well, maybe some amount of money.
I mean, yeah.
But
all right, so you guessed it. We are hiking Stoos Ridge on day 5. And guys, we really lucked out with good weather. We had no crowds. We had the trail to ourselves, and this was highlight of this Switzerland trip, like for sure. Yeah. So definitely why we would recommend staying at Fronalpstock. If you can't, that's okay. You can just do this as a day hike, and it's so beautiful. So if you are staying at Fronalpstock Hotel, you are going to be doing this hike backwards. Typically, we would recommend to take the Stoosbahn up to Stoos and then take the Klingenstock chairlift up, hike the ridge, and then take the Fronalpstock chairlift down. If you were just doing this as a day hike, the reason for that is just because you have the most beautiful views in front of you, and then you finish at Fronalpstock and you can have lunch. There's just a lot more infrastructure at that end of the hike. However, if you're starting at Fronalpstock, it's so worth it to be up there without the crowds that you can hike one way, you can hike out and back, do whatever, just be on the ridge before 9 a.m. and you can thank us later.
We got to enjoy probably an hour of like peace and quiet along this ridgeline, and we could actually see the crowd come up the gondola and the chairlift. It was, yeah.
Kind of surreal. This hike is 4.7 kilometers and about 400 meters of elevation gain one way. So you can either choose to just hike along the ridge one way. You can take the gondola down. You can hike down back to Stoos. There's a lot of different options to kind of do whatever you want. And when you're out hiking too in Switzerland, you'll see trails everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're all very well maintained and they all lead you somewhere. Yeah. So if you want to like cut down early, I think this time we cut down off the ridge early and hiked back down to Stoos. That's an option. So once you're done your hike, you are going to take the Stoosbahn back to your vehicle and drive 1.5 hours to Interlaken. There are plenty of places to stay here, but our personal favorite is called Hotel Salzano. We have stayed there 3 times now, and the food, the spa, the people, it's like my favorite hotel ever. So highly recommend staying there.
Day 6, you're gonna get a little bit of a rest from hiking, and you can take this day to explore Interlaken. It is one of the most beautiful towns we have ever been to, and it is well worth a visit. You can also go up to the Harder Kulm. We'd recommend doing this for sunset, of course, because it's amazing.
Yeah, just a side note, if you want to take the gondola up to Harder Kulm for sunset, go well before sunset, because so does a lot of other people. So it does get lined up, and it would be really sad to be in line missing the sunset. So just go maybe give yourself a few hours. There are lots of different cafes and restaurants in Interlaken. There's tons of shopping here, or you can also book a kayak or stand-up paddleboard tour, or just enjoy the spa. We really enjoy it. Just a resting spa day after all the hiking.
Gotta rest those muscles.
Yeah.
Because there's some big ones coming up. Day 7, you're gonna be waking up nice and early because you're gonna be visiting the most beautiful lake in the Alps, which is Oeschinensee. It is a 45-minute drive from Interlaken to get to the parking lot. Be sure to get here right when the gondola opens. Or if you want to hike a lot this day, you could skip this gondola, and I would try to get up there for sunrise if you're committed to this. But
it's about 1,000 meters of elevation, guys. So
yeah, you're gonna be hitting like a 3,000 meter elevation day, which some people love. I personally think the gondola is well worth it. It is about 30 francs. Once you get to the top, the loop is about 7.4 kilometers and 490 meters of elevation gain. We would recommend doing this loop clockwise. Before you reach the lake, you're actually gonna take a left and you're gonna hike straight up the ridge, and then it's nice and easy along the ridge. The views are insane,
So
and then
good.
it's back down to the lake. If it's a hot day, you have to go for a swim here. Me and Kaylee did, and it was so refreshing.
yeah, bring a bathing suit. It's very exposed, so bring lots of sunscreen.
Yeah.
Honestly, most hikes in Switzerland pretty exposed, so sunscreen, lots of water, snacks. All right, so day 8 is a day in and around Interlaken. We would definitely recommend booking this in advance, but wake up nice and early and go on a paragliding flight. There are several places that you can paraglide around Switzerland. Pretty much in any given town, you can just look up and see paragliders. It's very cool. It's very popular there. We always book through Get Your Guide because they have a fantastic cancellation policy. So we will link the tour that we took below. We've actually gone in Interlaken twice now. We took Janet for her 65th birthday and she loved it. I think it was a bit overwhelming for her,
Yeah,
but in a good way.
so much fun.
Yeah.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
It's amazing.
And there's not a lot of tours that we would probably do again
Yeah.
traveling. This is definitely one of them.
Yeah, definitely worth it. I believe it's about 185 francs per person. So it's not cheap, but it's just such a cool experience. Have some lunch and then hit the trails. So we would recommend hiking Augstmatthorn this afternoon. This is part of the famous Hardergrat Ridge, which gives you views over Interlaken and both lakes that surround it. But the Hardergrat Ridge is about 25 kilometers with 2,500 meters of elevation. So Augstmatthorn kind of takes you up the backside, pops you over on the best viewpoint, and then you can hike back down. It is only 5 kilometers with 570 meters of elevation gain, so that is much more manageable than hiking the whole ridge line, but it is pretty steep. So just keep that in mind. You probably want to bring poles and good hiking boots.
Yeah, one of the best bang for bucks hikes we've ever done.
Yeah, and you might get to see ibex, guys. The first time we did this hike, we saw so many ibex.
On day 9, you're gonna drive from Interlaken to Lauterbrunnen. This is a really short and beautiful drive. Once you get to Lauterbrunnen, you can spend a couple hours walking around and enjoying the epic views. There are a lot of good places to eat, some local shops, and the town itself is just so beautiful. There are also a lot of waterfalls in this area. This valley is very well known for how many waterfalls it has. Or you could rent an e-bike and go for a bike ride because biking here is also really big.
If you are looking for budget accommodation, David and I camped for about a week when we were here on our honeymoon in Lauterbrunnen. I guess it was just like a few kilometers outside for like 25 francs a night. So you definitely can stay for more on a budget here.
After you are done exploring the town, you are going to hop on the gondola and go up to Murren. Murren is a really small car-free mountain village that looks over the entire Lauterbrunnen Valley. We stayed at the Murren Palace Hotel, which is quite fancy and very luxurious. So if you're looking to splurge a little bit, we would definitely recommend this place. But
very bougie.
There are also a lot of other places and budget-friendly places to stay in Murren.
Yeah, it's just such a cool place because a lot of people go up there for the day. So when you stay the night, like walking around after 5, it's like quiet. The views are bonkers. You can see multiple glaciers just from like the main street. It's a very cool place to go. If you do stay at the Murren Palace Hotel, make sure to hit up their spa in the evening and then go to bed early because there's a big adventure on day 10. David's favorite hike in Switzerland, guys.
The best.
Day 10 is the Mürren Via Ferrata. So, if you don't know much about Via Ferratas, you can think like rock climbing with more pronounced handholds and steps, and you have a cable that straps you in. So you have a harness, you have 2 loops, and you click yourself along this course. And we probably wouldn't recommend it as your first Via Ferrata. So if you've never done a Via Ferrata before, book the guided tour. There's a guided tour you can book. You definitely don't want to do this by yourself for your first Via Ferrata because you are literally scaling the side of a cliff. But if you've done Via Ferratas before and you have experience and you are a confident hiker and you're okay with heights, you can just rent all of your gear from the Intersport in Murren for about 30 Swiss francs per person, and you can do this course self-guided, which is really cool. I have never been anywhere else where you can do something like that. The views are bonkers. The adrenaline is great. And well, I mean, I loved it.
It was a little much for me. No, it was a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it if you've never done it before.
Yeah, bring lots of water. It is only about 2.2 kilometers with 300 meters of elevation loss, but it does take between 3 to 5 hours, just depending on your pace. And it is strenuous, like you're climbing up and down ladders, you're scaling the side of the cliff. So take your time, bring water, bring snacks. And then once you are done, you can either hike back up to Murren, the 2.2 kilometers, or you can take a $6 gondola that takes you right back up into town.
If you aren't staying at Murren and you're just staying in Interlaken or Lauterbrunnen, you need to do this Via Ferrata.
Yeah, you can totally do it as a day trip up to Murren and then do the Via Ferrata. That's what we did our first time in Switzerland. Once you're done the Via Ferrata, you could stay in Murren an extra night if you have one, but we are on a tight timeline, so we are heading back down to Lauterbrunnen, hopping in the car, and driving to Grindelwald, which is about 30 minutes away. There are tons of great places to stay in Grindelwald. We personally love Boutique Hotel Glacier, and this last time we stayed at the Grindel Lodge. Both of those were great.
Day 11 is going to be spent exploring Grindelwald. This town is like an adventure park for adults. There are so many thrilling things to do around here. We would personally recommend doing First and hiking up to Berggasthaus.
So what you have to do here is take a gondola up from Grindelwald. It's about 76 Swiss francs per person, and that's just for a basic round trip. They also have a bunch of activities that you can do on the way down. So they have a zip line, mountain carts, they have scooters, they have different activities you could do to get you all the way down the mountain, and you could choose how many of those you'd like to do. Those are just additional on top of the $76. But once you get to the top, don't miss, there's a cliff walk there, which is very popular and very busy, but it does have really nice views. We would recommend just hiking straight on past the cliff walk and go to Seealpsee, which is one of the most beautiful alpine lakes in this region. The trail to get here is very well maintained and very wide. It is 6 kilometers round trip with only about 200 meters of elevation, so it's really accessible, which makes it very popular.
If you want to catch Seealpsee for sunrise, there is also a small hut up there that you can book and stay in, and that is the only way that you're going to get to Seealpsee for sunrise.
Very cool experience, definitely worth a stop while you are in Grindelwald. Some other things we would recommend are hiking the Grindelwald Glacier Gorge, which is pretty cool. It's a couple kilometers through a gorge, and that costs about 21 Swiss francs per person. In the same place, you can also do a canyon swing, which we still haven't done. I would like to do it.
Would recommend.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah.
A few other things you can do here are go all the way up to Jungfraujoch, which is very expensive. It's close to 200 Swiss francs per person for a round trip ticket, but it is known as the top of Europe. It's the tallest train station in Europe. And there's some cool things up there. I think there's some shops and a viewing platform. We have never been just because of the price. Or you can do the hike from Mannlichen to Kleine Scheidegg. This also involves a gondola and then about a 10-kilometer hike. It's relatively easy and family friendly, and there are some pretty awesome glacier views along this trail, as well as a bunch of huts that you could stop at for a drink and something to eat.
On day 12, you are going to drive from Grindelwald to Zermatt. It is about 2.5 hours from Grindelwald to the town of Tasch, where you are going to park your vehicle and hop on a train up to Zermatt. Zermatt is also a car-free village. It is less than 10 francs to take this train.
And it's super quick. It's only a couple minutes.
This town is super busy. It is at the base of the Matterhorn, as you probably know. And it is just such an epic mountain village that you have to go to when you're traveling to Switzerland.
Yeah, Zermatt is expensive though, guys. It's probably the most expensive place in Switzerland, I would say.
And we are going to link our favorite restaurant in Zermatt. It is affordable and it is delicious.
Yeah, cheese fondue with champagne and truffles, guys. Whenever you see that on the menu, order it, but especially at this place. Other things you can do in Zermatt include there's lots of hiking in the area if you get there early in the day. There's lots of shopping. The views don't really get that impressive until you get up. So I would say whatever your plans are in Zermatt, plan to go on at least one hike. Definitely go on the hike that we are about to recommend because it's the best one, we think.
Day 13 is going to be spent visiting Stellisee Lake and Gorner Glacier, which are two of the most impressive but also popular places around Zermatt. There is so much hiking around Zermatt, but this is such an epic one, and you kind of combine two of like the most popular viewpoints into one day, and it is so good.
Yeah, this is a little bit complicated and we do not have time to break it all down in this video, but we do have a full YouTube video on this hike that we will link below. This hike includes a few different trains and gondolas that total around 100 Swiss francs per person, with a total hiking distance of around 17 kilometers with 600 meters of elevation gain. There is also an option to stay at an alpine hut right up by Stellisee Lake and experience sunrise there, which we would highly recommend.
And actually, if you are doing this trip during September, October, this valley lights up with larches. So we haven't personally been able to experience that, but it looks incredible.
Could be pretty cool. And if you're really lucky, you might see the Zermatt black-nosed sheep, which are famous and super cute. They were just grazing along when we...
Yeah, they have an app. They are celebrities of the area. So if you want to see them, download the app and you can see actually where the GPS colors are.
Forgot about that.
Pretty funny.
You are probably going to want to spend the night in Zermatt. I think you're going to be pretty tired from this hike. So just get some cheese fondue and relax.
On your last adventure day in Switzerland, you are going to stop at Aletsch Glacier on your way back from Zermatt to Zurich. It is the largest glacier in the Alps.
So to get here, you're going to drive and park at the Bettental station, and then you do have the option again of hiking as much as you'd like here. We took a gondola up to Bettmeralp and then another gondola up to Bettmergrat, and that was about 35 Swiss francs per person round trip, which felt very worth it. And that takes you pretty much all the way up to the Aletsch Glacier.
The hike we did was about 8 kilometers and 500 meters of elevation gain, but there are a ton of different routes you could do if you wanted to do something easier, something a little bit harder. There are trails everywhere.
Yeah, the trail just takes you down along the glacier and you can kind of pick as far as you'd like to go. So that's actually really nice.
After you're done this hike, you're gonna hop back in the car and drive 3 hours to Zurich. Make sure to do a little bit of stretching before you hop in the car because your legs are probably going to be pretty tired when you get out in Zurich, speaking from experience, obviously.
And then the next day you fly home. So very sad to be leaving Switzerland, but we were super happy to be leaving with KLM. That was like the best fly home experience we've ever had. We actually landed after our 8-hour flight feeling rested. And we had some time to like recoup from the hiking trip on the flight home, which was really nice.
We're definitely going to be flying KLM as much as we can in the future.
Yeah, we also got to surprise David's mom with first class tickets for her 65th birthday, which was just so much fun to watch. She was like dancing, getting on the plane. It was really fun to just be part of that.
It was.
So huge thank you to KLM for sponsoring this trip.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe if you are into travel, especially through Switzerland, because we have a whole bunch of content.
Make sure to check out our Switzerland travel guide, and we will see you next week.
See you in the next one.